morning to you, and welcome back to today's JRPG Weekly Update. I'm SuperDerek, and we've got a lot of news to talk about today. A lot of Trails-heavy news, in fact. But before we get to that, today's sponsor is me and my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/SuperDerekRPGs. Come on over and hang out with us. We play every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting around 6 p.m. Central Time, and it's where I play all the games that I review here on the Game Collection, except I'm just playing them casually and hanging out with you guys and enjoying my time, and it's a lot of fun, I think. Plus, every other Saturday, we also play the Jukebox Hero Challenge, which is a thing of my own creation where I play through 3 classic RPGs all at the same time on rotation, and anytime anybody subscribes or cheers with bits, the game automatically switches no matter what I'm doing to the next one in rotation. Things get a bit crazy and a bit hectic. It's a lot of fun, and plus anytime anybody subscribes to my channel over there on Twitch, you also get a whole bunch of extra benefits in the Discord, including a unique role, early access to videos, access to high quality downloads, monthly hangouts, and other cool stuff I try to do to sort of just help sweeten the pot and make it more worth your while. So again, make sure you check me out over at twitch.tv/SuperDerekRPGs. We actually are in the middle of Crusader of Centy, and we're going to probably finish that tonight, but then on Wednesday, we'll be beginning, I believe, Vi on the Sega CD, which is a nice little working designs game. So if you're interested, Wednesday would be a perfect opportunity to kind of jump in and kind of see the beginning of that stream series. So anyways, on with the show. And the first bit of actual news that I'd like to talk to you guys about today is a little game called Nayuta No Kiseki Kai, which is coming to PlayStation 4 in 2021 in Japan. And for those of you who know the Trails series, you'll know that the No Kiseki is the suffix. What is Nayuta No Kiseki? Because this is a game I didn't even know existed until, well, today, to be totally honest. This is apparently a game that was released on the PSP in Japan. It's an action RPG that uses the battle system, the whole engine of Ys VII. So if you've played Ys VII and wanted more of that, well, this is your opportunity to, maybe opportunity to get to play that and experience a little bit of the Trails and the Sky Trails and the Trails series world. It's a side story that doesn't really involve too much of the moving pieces of the main games. However, this is something that is still existing in that world, and it sounds like because they're making this remaster of this PSP game, that Falcom is probably intending to at some point make this more integral to newer iterations of the story. So that's something to keep your eyes on. Now, there's not really a whole lot known about the game at this time, other than the fact that it's going to be including 60 frames per second support, enhanced visuals, and audio improvements. But there's no word about an English localization just yet. But the Trail series has been doing really well, and I would not be surprised to hear that does in fact come to the West this time, especially if this is going to be something that dovetails with newer entries in the Kiseki or Trails series. And on the heels of that, we have more Trails to talk about. Kuro No Kiseki. This is a new game that has just been announced. We've been talking about it for some time now without really knowing what it was named. Well, we do have a name, and we've got a bit more than that at this point. The new game is going to be set in the Calvard Republic, which is going to feature some shadier aspects of society, and it sounds really cool to me so far. Calvard is that republic that has a kind of like a Eastern European kind of feel, but it has a whole lot of refugees from the Eastern, so there's this mix of Eastern European and Far East cultures that are represented in this region, which is really exciting. I always wanted to see more of Calvard after I got to see Zine and Kilika. And anyways there's been a bunch of information released about this game, and I'm going to link to the Gematsu article down below for people who want to see a more exhaustive list of everything that we know up to this point. However, I know that some people also want to just kind of live under a rock until this comes out. Now, it looks like it is going to come out in Japan in 2021, likely a PlayStation 4 release and other platforms as demand dictates, according to Falcom. However, that also is likely to come to the West here probably in 2022. So we've got a bit of a wait, I think, but it's still really exciting. And Falcom has said that they're looking at moving forward to the PlayStation 5 for additional future developments. There's a very strong possibility that it will come natively to PlayStation 5 or be enhanced for PlayStation 5 based on that information that they gave. There's a lot of moving pieces, but I'll tell you what, if you guys get subscribed, I'll make sure to cover all future updates in new episodes of the JRPG Weekly Update. Now, in other news, we do actually still have more trails to talk about because a lot of the games on Good Old Games right now are on sale, including most, if not all. I don't think Cold Steel 4 is on sale, but most of the Trails games are currently on sale on a substantial discount, talking like 20, 30%, 35% off at this point. Some of them, all the DLCs are on sale as well. I highly recommend you check them out. And this is not an affiliate link. I don't have an affiliate to Good Old Games, but if you click the link down in the description below, you can go see all the Trails games that are currently on sale over at Good Old Games. And yeah, it's pretty steep discounts. This is probably a really great time for you to get started in Trails in the Sky, and I would highly recommend that you do start there. Check out my reviews of Trails in the Sky FC and SC. I would recommend it if you're on the fence about whether or not you want to get these games, and PC would be the way to go. Trust me, the PC is the way to go. Check out my reviews if you need more information. And in some other news, Bravely Default 2 got a second new demo that has a lot of the updated features that were implemented following a lot of the feedback that they received after the first demo. This is going to be kind of like a more of a finished product kind of demo if you want to check that out before the game actually comes out next year. And then here's a bit of news that I've kind of not really been really excited to talk very much about. In fact, I didn't talk about it at all last week, which was probably to my detriment because it was a big hot topic. Everybody was talking about it, and I didn't want to. CD Projekt Red and the whole Cyberpunk 2077 fiasco, which is, everybody pretty much knows about it by now, but I should talk about it because it does fall into the purview of the show. And there's a few reasons I didn't want to talk about it really. The first is because you never know when you start hearing about a lot of these reports. Is it just picky gamers being picky gamers? You never know, because Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, when those first came out, they were pretty notoriously buggy, but eventually they became amazing classic Western style RPGs. And I was holding out hope that maybe this is just, a bit overblown, doesn't work on some consoles, doesn't work on some, no, it's actually much worse than that. And the other reason that I didn't want to talk about it is because it just kind of makes me sad because I was really looking forward to playing these games and or this game and maybe have it become a favorite of mine along the side of Fallout New Vegas. It doesn't look like that's gonna likely happen, at least not for a long while. So essentially the long and short of it is that Cyberpunk 2077 came out in a basically unplayable and laughable state for current gen, not like the PS5, the old consoles, the PS4, Xbox One, they're not really up to muster, and it just looks terrible and buggy and crashy. And anyways, so the result of that is that the game was actually pulled from both the PlayStation and Microsoft stores. People are being issued refunds, and now it looks like, after this massive fan outcry and backlash, who basically memed the game to death, there may be a class action lawsuit that they're facing down, which is just a really bad couple of weeks, I guess, for CD Projekt Red. I do hope that they are able to turn this around. Fallout 76 did to an extent. They were able to turn things around. And speaking of them, it looks like, no matter how bad Fallout 76 was, Microsoft and Sony both never just pulled the games off the stores, the digital stores. This is pretty serious, and it looks like, that class action lawsuit. I don't really have a whole lot to bring to the table to this, except I do hope that they are able to turn this around, kind of like No Man's Sky, how after another year of active development, the game became more fun to a lot of people, and I'm hoping that CD Projekt Red is able to hobble together enough fixes and make this what it was supposed to be in due time. But I'm not buying it until then, that's for sure. Probably buy it in a few years when it's $20 and has all the DLCs included. Yeah. And by then I'll have the hardware to run it, no doubt. So in community news, Super Robot Wars Taisen OG, the original generation for PS2, was a game that just recently got a fan translation released onto romhacking.net. The OG features original mechas and characters that were not taken from various animes, so it's kind of like its own OC characters and everything. They're its own independent stories. So I'll go ahead and link to the game down in the video's description, the ROM hack, if you are interested in that. Now, in SuperDerek news, last week I finished Trails in the Sky the Third. Hey, look, more Trails news. And if all goes well, knock on wood, I am hoping to release that review on Christmas. And I really hope I'm able to do that, especially since I'm saying it now. But yeah, wish me luck. It's a very tight timeline. I finished it on Wednesday. And then on Friday, over on Twitch, we started my playthrough of Crusader of Centy. And I think I'll be wrapping that up today and then moving on to Vi on Wednesday. Vi being that Sega CD RPG localized by Working Designs. Now, that leaves us with today's JRPG Weekly Forecast, which unfortunately is a very short one because there's only one RPG of note that's coming out here very soon, and that is Death End Request. It's making its way to Nintendo Switch on December 24th on New Year's Eve, or Christmas Eve, rather. And this is a horror RPG from Compile Heart, from the scenario writer behind the original Corpse Party. I'm probably butchering this name. Makoto Keruin. Keep your eyes out for that if you're looking for something a little spookier for your Christmas Eve. And then that leaves us with today's question of the week. And I'm going to do things a little bit differently today because I actually got a really good question yesterday from somebody in the last video, the last JRPG Weekly update from Yaku Morosuke, who asked, they're just getting into RPGs, and it seems like a lot of games that are out right now, a lot of things that we're really excited about, have a lot of extra mechanics and extra things that kind of make it a little bit of a daunting task to really dive into. So they're looking for what is an entry-level RPG, and I'm going to ask you to go ahead and list a couple. You know, it's difficult for me to say because I grew up a long while back getting into them when the Super Nintendo was still like the new hotness. It was the awesome RPG machine at the time, and I know that 16-bit games are kind of there is a divide. There's some people who just cannot get into 2D sprite-based games, and I get that. It's too bad, but that's where I would recommend people start personally is, you know, like Super Mario RPG introduced a lot of Westerners to the concept of a turn-based RPG featuring familiar characters. And then of course there's Pokemon, which is also a really awesome beginner's RPG kind of thing where it shows you what turn-based battles look like and elemental attributes and various, you know, weaknesses and strengths and unique moves and stuff. And I feel like the character collection, the monster collection aspect of that is something that a lot of people can be eased into the genre with. I'm not sure what a modern version of that would be, but maybe Dragon Quest XI. And I know that that's going to be probably not a super popular recommendation among a lot of you, but I'm going to go ahead and say that my reason for that is that it is a very standard turn-based style RPG without a whole lot of extra mechanics on top. I mean, there is the thing where you turn blue, and that's kind of an aside. But aside from that, it's a very like traditional turn-based enter your commands, go back and forth. It's nothing that might overwhelm somebody with having to remember the various tactics that you got to do. But then again, it also doesn't feature a lot of the modern quality of life things that a lot of people would probably seek out, you know? So that's why I'm asking you guys, what would you recommend to somebody to get them started on their RPG journey? Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. It has been a pleasure. I am SuperDerek, and this has all been news to me. Have a great week and a happy holiday to everyone. See you guys.